Alright, Shalom. Gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. Young brother here, Shemash one Ban Yahawada, and I want to speak about Daniel 7 and 5. And behold, another beast, second, like to a bear, it raised itself up on one side, and he had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And he said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Right? So it raises itself on one side. One side is the Persians, which are Elam, your modern day Indians, as well as your Iranians, people like that. They're essentially the same people that go back to Elam. Became stronger than the other, which are the Medes. Medes are Japhetic, and they were kind of in that same region, roundabout. I think they're a little bit more west of Persian Elam, I believe, when you look into a map of it, an ancient map. It's Media, okay? And the Persians became the dominant member of the alliance because Cyrus conquered it. So 3 ribs. The 3 ribs pretty much represent the 3 nations that they conquered, 3 empires. So the Babylonians, right? Darius the Mede, right? That's how he conquered it. Daniel the 5th chapter. Egypt was conquered by Cambyses II, right? And Lydia, which I want to focus on, is the Battle of Halys, or the Siege of Sardis, which is the correct name. I think I got Battle of Halys probably from Halley's Bible Handbook, but I guess Battle of Halys also works anyway, because I think Sardis is like around the Halys River or something like that. But Cyrus took down the Lydian king Croesus, which I want to pretty much talk about that. Devour much flesh. Pretty much the kingdom was vast, and that's the symbolic meaning of 3 teeth saying unto it, arise, devour much flesh. It's symbolic, pretty much. Go out, take out these nations, and grow. We hear Esther 1 and 3 had 127 provinces, in the book of Esther. And that was in Xerxes' time, so they were very big. So, as we all know, when you have a conflict between 2 nations, there's always has to be that one symbolic or decisive battle that, spells the end for the one and leads to the rise of the other, right? Or that one key event that just puts an end to everything, right? Think about America in the nuking, dropping the bomb on, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Just think about that, That put an end to everything. I mean, Japan to this day, that's why they have no nuclear policy, because of that event and what happened to them, and they got fucked all the way up, man, So in the Battle of Thymbra was a decisive battle in the war between Croesus of the Lydian kingdom and Cyrus the Great of the Achaemenid Empire. Cyrus, after he had pursued Croesus into Lydia at the drawn battle of Traea, met the remains of Croesus's partially disbanded army in battle on the plain north of Sardis, which is the capital city of Lydia. That's kind of like in Asia Minor, by the way, Lydia. And Sardis, you should recognize Sardis because, Revelations, the first chapter, is one of those 7 churches, church in Sardis. In December 547 BC, Croesus' army was about twice as large and had been reinforced with many new men. But Cyrus still utterly defeated it. That proved to be decisive. After the 14-day siege of Sardis, the city and possibly its king fell, and Lydia was conquered by the Persians. And there you go. So that's the Battle of Thymbra. That was what translated, the control of Lydia to to Cyrus, and to the Persians. And I believe the history of this is that that's why Darius the Mede went to Babylon, because Cyrus was busy handling this stuff up north, north of that region. So this is worldhistory.org, right? Because I want to talk a little bit more about Lydia. So, Lydia, with its capital Sardis, rose to its greatest preeminence under the reign of the Mermid dynasty. The first king of the dynasty was Gyges, who claimed the fame of being the first tyrant in Greek records. The 4th king was Elides, who, like Gyges, fought the neighboring Cimmerians, but with more success in acquired parts of Ionia. Both Gyges in what's Greece, both Gyges and Alligates impressive tombs were laid at Ben Tepe and gained fame for their size and iniquity. Let's go take a look by Ionia. So actually, I was wrong. I said it was in Greece, but as you can see here, you have it, in Asia Minor. It's pretty much right next to Lydia, but when you go into ancient history, you had Greeks that settled around certain pieces of these lands as well. And if you just read on down, you'll see, you had Greeks that were pretty much, running stuff around there for a minute. So you had Greeks in Ionia. You also had, Greeks. I believe the Greeks, they took over Crete, but the original Cretans were actually, man, I can't remember which Canaanite. I think they were Canaanites. They were something. You can look it up. I did a video on it, but there was you could just look it up, right? Look at Ham in Genesis the 10th chapter. You look at one of those Canaanites. They were the original people that were in Crete. You look at some of those photos, you can kind of see, But I made a video of it on my channel who the original Cretans were. They were actually Hamites, And even when you read here, they actually had Hittites in Ionia first before Japheth came in there and put in that work on them, and pretty much they started to run stuff. But that's at least from what I skimmed, Japheth pretty much came in and took over it. Okay, so it was Aedes 610 to, so the fourth king was Aedes, rather Mermat dynasty 610 to 560 BCE. Lygia fought the neighboring Cimmerians, but with more success in acquired parts of Ionia. Both Gyges and Alligates impressive tombs were laid at Ben Tepe and gained fame for their size and iniquity. And these are all Japhites. Lydia thrived even more under the last Mermnad king Croesus 560 to 546 BCE, who conquered the Greek cities on the coast and expanded the empire to control all of the Anatolian plateau up to the river Halys and thus border the Persian Empire. Croesus maintained friendly relations with the Greeks, and he even gave financial aid to the rebuilding of the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus and made dedications at Delphi, where he famously misinterpreted the oracle's proclamation that an empire would fall. Alas, it was to be Lydia and not, as Croesus thought, Persia. Alright, so that's what happened, Which, as I said, it's all prophecy, playing out. The Lord had that all set up, But oracles, they basically, they commune with demons, so it's further proof the Lord controls everything, man, The Greeks told the legendary wealth of Croesus probably based on the fact that Lydia was one of the first states to mint coinage, right? And as I talked about before with coinage, this is where it comes from. They say that Lydia was the first people to mint the coinage, and then later on, we picked up the coinage from the Tyrians, and we started to use the Tyrian shekels for temple ministrations, which in my opinion, I don't think that's, you're not supposed to do that. I don't know what other brothers say. I don't know what the elders' opinion on it, but I think that's off. Because we're not supposed to touch anything that belongs to these heathens, because it's got heathen shit all over it. But you could, I guess you could argue that there's an order, but nah, I think they were all for doing that back then. Picking that up, and I think they started that while obviously you were using that while the Hasmonean dynasty was still around. I did a video on it recently. I think it was like 300 something BC. They started picking that stuff up. They shouldn't have done that. Perhaps in the reign of Croesus' father Aedes, these roughly made coins were small lumps of electrum, an alloy of gold and silver, or pure silver and gold, which were stamped with the design of a lion and an ox. Croesus' expansion Lydia came to an abrupt end when the Persian king Cyrus II defeated him 546 BC in the Battle of Halys. Yep, that's what I was talking about. The Battle of Thimbra. So Croesus was thrown in a funeral pyre, with legend claiming that the king was saved by Apollo, which is a bunch of baloney, and taken to the mythical land of the Hyperboreans. But, if you ever look at like the memes nowadays, everyone's talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Hyperborea. It's like because their version of heaven or paradise or something, which it's madness. In heaven, it's called the Chamber of Souls. You don't have your body. You go up in there and you're in the spirit world. Your soul and your spirit go back up there, and I don't even know. I don't even know what happens up there. I don't know, man. I guess you have some sort of spiritual form or spiritual body while you're up there or something, or soul body. I don't know, man. Soul form. Don't ask me, man. I have no idea. But you're judged, before Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and you come back on earth and you play out your lot. So you play out your lot, every third or fourth generation, every 75 to 100 years, you come back and you play out your judgment. So that's why we always say, like a lot of these guys, like Edomites that are born like fucked up, and they got like 2 heads or some shit, or they got fucking no arms and no legs. Like, man, he probably owned slaves in his past life, and yeah, he's probably did something really fucked up. So, or you could say, man, I used to make jokes about that, man. Fucking, what's his name? Fucking dude, bro. What's his fucking name? Oh, Cyrus. Cyrus has probably came back as one of these, weak-looking Elamites. He's probably lame as hell now. He probably has like nothing going on. Like, who knows? Who knows where he is, man? He's probably fucked up. Or probably got like 2 arms or some, or no, 4 arms or some shit, and fucking 3 legs. So who knows? Who knows what happened to these guys? But I'm just making good fun. I'm making good fun. I hear Croesus was thrown in a feudal pyre. Oh yeah, I read that, right? Cyrus was taken, and Lydia became thereafter Persian satrapy. In the 5th century BCE, Persian War, Cyrus was sacked by the Ionians in 498 BCE and used as a base by Xerxes prior to his invasion of mainland Greece in 480 BCE. So it was taken down by the Ionians. They got their revenge, and then Persia pretty much came back and was like, all right, I'm gonna get you, and he did. And that's talked about in Daniel, the 11th chapter. So Lowell and the brothers, everyone out there who was, having to watch this was, edified, and that's pretty much it.